Hey, it's Andrew Morgan, host of the Nomcast, the Netflix original movie podcast. Each week we preview and review the biggest Netflix original movies with special guests from the film industry, the music industry, comedians, and of course our fellow critics and podcasters. The Nomcast is available on nomcastpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts, on the socials at nomcastpod, and is a part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Hey, I'm Shamar.
And I'm Andrew.
We're going to be doing a deep dive on all the connected DC animated movies and their cinematic universe.
Yes, I'm here to discuss the interconnected storylines and point out how jacked everybody is.
And I'm here to share deep comic book knowledge like Batman having his own sneaker line.
So check out yet another DC animated podcast.
Part of the Forgotten Entertainment family and coming soon wherever you listen to your podcast.
I respectfully refuse, sir.
Hear that?
Yes.
It's Sergeant Donnie Donowitz. You might know him better by his nickname, the Bear Jew. Have you heard, Aldo, the Patchy you got heard about the Bear Jew?
I heard of the Bear Jew.
What'd you hear?
Beats German soldiers with a club.
He bashes the brains in with a baseball bat, what he does. Hey, Werner, I'm gonna ask you one last goddamn time. If you still respectfully refuse, I'm calling the Bear Jew over. He's gonna take that big bat of his, and he's gonna beat your ass to death with it.
Welcome to On the QT. I'm Gerlami. You can't do it?
I have to do it. That's Gorlami, not Gorlami.
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 Gorlami. And I'm Antonio Margariti.
Dominic De Coco.
Well, you know what movie we're talking about. It's Inglourious Basterds week here. I'm John.
I'm Lloyd.
And our guest, this is important this week, guys, right? I feel like one of the bosses stopped by, right?
Yeah, right.
Forgotten Entertainment. We're almost at the end of our run. We're getting close. We have 3 full episodes after this one, and they got a quality control sent in here. They sent Mike Butler from Forgotten Entertainment down to check in on the show. And Mike, are you comfortable? Do you want another beer? Do I need to? Would you like Lloyd? Not me, by the way, to rub your feet, anything like that.
I'm here for the audit, so yeah, let me get my clipboard out and let me see how you guys run this operation. I've already noted a couple of things that I'm going to have to check off on my list.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
We've got written procedures, so no worries.
2 places below, yet another Star Wars podcast for snack choices. I don't like watermelon. All right.
You had a shandy on the table. I didn't drink the shandy, so that's a plus. But you had shandy. That's a negative.
Good choice. I'll keep the name out because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. But
Right.
a certain company that operates out of, I think, Rhode Island, right? Is it Rhode
That
Island?
was a shady shandy.
That was not good. So if you're out there and you see a certain company that specializes in shandy beers and it's a passion fruit mango one, avoid at all costs. All right. So here we are. We're here to talk about what would this be in order now? Again, we got Res Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown's 3, Kill Bill 1 and 2 are 4 and 5, Death Proof 6. So this is the 7th film in the filmography of Quentin Tarantino.
Numero 7.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not seeing the hand gestures.
You're not seeing the hand gestures. So Inglourious Basterds, this was released in 2009. Do you have an exact date, Lloyd? I didn't write the date.
I got August 21st.
August 21st. I do remember it was a summer film. I saw this in the theaters. Lloyd, did you see it in the theater?
I did not.
Butler?
Of course.
Well, again, I forget. Butler works in a theater. And
I think I was actually, at this time, back in college. I think this was the first week back for me. So I had to pay to watch this movie.
Okay. Butler, by the way, actually is one of the guys running Forgotten Entertainment. He's also the co-host of Forgotten Cinema, Cracking One Open,
Two Player Bros,
and something else coming along the pike. We won't throw that out there.
Right.
But we start all the episodes with talk. You hear my dog in the background, by the way. That's just going to happen because they're fucking crazy tonight. But we do talk about in all these episodes with our guests your level of fandom with Tarantino.
I am not what would you call a Tarantino head? A Tino head?
Yeah, I mean,
what are they called? Do they have a name?
I didn't know there was a term for it.
There's always a term for it, man.
All right.
Like Trekkers and Trekkies.
Yeah. Do you have to go see every film in the theaters? Do you watch every movie 5 times? You know, where are you at?
If a Tarantino film comes out, it's an event film. It's a film I want to see. I think he's a fantastic filmmaker. He's one of the best. Granted, they're all Tarantino movies. They are his own genre of film. I don't have to see them 5 times. There are some that I have, like Inglourious Basterds. I have now seen. This is my 4th time, but I have not watched it since it first came out. Django, I have seen probably 5 or 6 times. Pulp Fiction, I've seen it quite a few times. But for the most part, I'm okay with being one and done for him.
Okay, all right, fair.
But I think he's phenomenal in doing what he does. He knows what he's doing, and he has a love for cinema that I respect.
Yeah, as we've kind of talked about on this show, he's a household name, right? Every director in America is not a household name.
Right.
You get some Spielberg household name, and some maybe not for the right reasons. M. Night Shyamalan, we've kind of discussed him on other things. Maybe circusy, maybe he's known for his tricks, but people know who that is.
Right.
Then there's a lot of guys, Michael Bay. He's known because he does everything big and loud and explosions and stupid. And then you've got Michael Bay, Jr. What's his name? Zack Snyder, who kind of does he's the slow-mo guy and released the 4-hour cut of a shitty movie. But Tarantino is one of those guys that will go down as someone that you will know. I know what movies he made.
He's the dialogue guy.
Right. He is a big dialogue guy. Absolutely.
Spielberg, Cameron, Tarantino, in terms of just great movies. Not like he has a shtick. They're just movies that will stand the test of time. And I'm not saying James Cameron is fantastic, but he's made movies that are fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
And that makes him a name.
Yeah.
Much like Tarantino.
So frustrated that guy is spending so much time on fucking Avatar sequels.
5 Avatars.
Where's my True Lies 2? You're 15, 20 years too late for
Where's my
True Lies 2.
Blu-ray of the Abyss with all extras and because the reason that hasn't come out
is there no Blu-ray for Abyss?
No.
Wow.
Which is weird for a guy obsessed who's only doing Avatar to build more submersibles.
Right. He won't do a Blu-ray because to him when he does the director's version and all the commentary, he immerses himself into it as if he's making a movie again.
Yeah.
So he won't do that until he has the time. Unfortunately, he's
never going to have the time.
He's making Avatars 2 through 9 for the next 44 fucking years. I'm never going to get the Blu-ray. That's why I still have my DVD collection. I have the director's cut DVD of The Abyss, and I keep that thing because I don't ever want to lose it. You know what I mean? Because all right,
you polish it every night.
I polish it. Yeah, I polish something every night. So Lloyd, real quick, let's do the bumper sticker. What is this one all about?
An alternate history tale of 2 converging plots to assassinate several high-ranking Nazi leaders in a French cinema.
Yep, that's perfect. That's essentially what that's the goal or the end point that everybody in this movie is moving towards.
Right.
First thing I want to mention upon rewatching this. Now, I've seen this. I saw it in the theaters. I've seen this a few times in the ensuing years. I hadn't seen it in probably 5 or 6 years. How do you guys feel about the title Inglourious Basterds? Me personally, I don't think you could do it because of the word Nazi. But I almost think a better title is, what is the first chapter title? Once Upon a Time in Nazi-occupied France?
France, yep.
That's a better movie title for this. Because Inglourious Basterds...
That's a long title.
That was the original title.
Was it really?
And he changed it and made it the first chapter because he thought it was too long. But then went ahead and did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I did like the fact that he kind of reused that motif. I would have thought you would never be able to use that because, in all honesty, you're never getting a movie in the theaters with the word Nazi in the title.
You'd have to rename it for Germany because Germany would not let you use Nazi. They didn't even let them use the Nazi flags because they couldn't decide whether it was historical purposes or just to promote Nazism.
Right. Because I think when you look at the title, you think that this movie is essentially about the Brad Pitt-led group, the Bastards. And really, this movie is not.
It's not.
Really, this movie is not. I want to go back. I want to retroactively answer something. So, along with Forgotten Entertainment, Pat Whalen has been doing a great series of videos where he's been asking, is there anything you would like to have seen a sequel to? I don't honestly remember my answer, but here's the answer I have. I would love to have seen a sequel to this movie that was entirely about the gathering of the Inglourious Basterds and just about some of their missions. Do you guys agree? I love those movies where it's a mission-based movie. Mm-hmm. You've got these different characters. You recruit them. I love stuff like that. Think of Ocean's 11 or Armageddon. And I would have loved to have I'm not saying I don't like this movie, trust me. But I would have loved to have seen more about
the Bastards.
The Bastards, right?
Right.
Because in the end, you spend a lot of time away from these guys in this movie.
You only see them really doing one thing in the beginning.
Right.
You know, and you don't really see them until they're in the French theater after. Well, a little bit in the basement.
There's several groups of characters that get, you know, as they should. They get full, the full benefit of being on screen and being part of the story. So I kind of feel like the title's a little misleading.
Yeah, but, you know, he also had the homage to the original Inglourious Basterds movie.
Right.
And he took a little liberty in the spellings, you know, for artistic reasons.
He'll never say why.
Yeah, no, just for artistic reasons.
Yeah,
Let's just leave it at that.
I read that. Who cares? It's cool.
Yeah.
It's
fine.
In my head, it's just one of these guys who's probably like a not super educated, you know, soldier, fucking misspelled bastards. And it's, you know, it works well.
Yep,
you know?
right.
It works well. Who's in this thing? Let's talk about the cast. This is a good one.
We got a huge cast for this. So Brad Pitt as Lieutenant Aldo the Apache Raine, the battle-hardened commander of the Bastards.
I can't tell you. I like Brad Pitt. I love Brad Pitt in this movie.
He's so good in this. This is probably my favorite Brad Pitt.
The accent
of all, yeah.
That Tennessee, you know, you're going to get me my scalps, you know, that kind of stuff. He is just so fucking good. The little bits of story that they give the character that you don't, it's not story, but it's there. The noose scar around his neck. Why is that
you
there?
don't see it. It never referred to, but I mean, you don't hear the story about it, but you see it every time.
Right. You don't have to.
Bootlegger in Tennessee, you get a little bit of his backstory, so you can kind of contemplate. Well, that works to your thing, making little mini stories. You could have done. This was in the perfect year, or maybe a year after, where people were starting to do little mini web series attached to their films. This would have been great to do little vignettes. Eli Roth, like Quentin Tarantino, loved Eli Roth's little mini movie, which I'm sure we'll go into. He could have had Eli Roth go off and do, give me a Bear Jew, give me an Aldo Raine, and give me maybe give me a Hans Landa or something like that. Give me 3 or 4 of these guys.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen
It'd be great for vignettes. Yeah, this would be perfect.
A little Netflix series. It would not have even had to been directed by Quentin Tarantino. You could have just given it to Eli Roth or some other Robert Rodriguez. Get some of your friends, and each one of you do a little 15-minute thing focusing on one of these guys, and then maybe like an hour-long thing focusing on one of their missions. You know, like a little mini movie or something focusing on one of their missions. I feel like that is, when I watch this movie, I love this movie, spoiler alert, but that is one of the things I miss the most out of it, is that it really, when this thing was first coming out, before it was made, okay, and we'll get into, you're going to say it anyway, but I'll just say it, Adam Sandler was considered to play the Bear Jew, the Eli Roth role. And I remember reading online that Adam Sandler is very possible for a role in Quentin Tarantino's ensemble film about, like, you know, it's like his Dirty Dozen.
Right.
It's not his Dirty Dozen, right? Because they don't spend that much time with these characters. And I just wish we had gotten something like that as well. I'm not saying change this movie.
Right, doesn't take away from this at all.
Just do it on the side. I would have loved to. So there's my real answer to Pat Whalen's question. For whatever I said before, fuck it. I wish they had done something with these characters. And you could say they could do it now, but it's 12 years later. People are older. It just probably wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's true. One other thing, do any of you know, is Brad Pitt's pronunciation of certain words all his own, or do you think they were written that way, or do you know?
Well, I would say,
like, in other words, Nazis.
Yeah.
I think that was something that they talked about. I'm sure Tarantino, who went to Brad Pitt's Italian estate, they ate bottles of rosé, apparently, tried to convince him to get this role. Probably talked at length about the background of his character. He'd have the new scar. This is who your character is. This is where he is. If you notice, when Aldo Raine speaks, he also speaks as if he has been hung. He
talks like this.
Like he's gotten some kind of throat injury as well. Yeah. So I'm sure all of that was talked about. Tarantino doesn't do anything by accident.
No.
He doesn't leave anything to chance, and he doesn't leave his actors aren't really left up to do their own thing.
Yeah, no. I saw him on Stern one time, and they asked him about, I think it was with Jamie Foxx for Django. And no, it was actually Jamie Foxx. And Stern asked him, were you allowed to improvise? And he said, I'm going to paraphrase Quentin Tarantino. You say my fucking words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You might be able to add something to it in terms of like your inflection
intonation
or something.
And all
but
that.
You fucking say my words. So I would not be surprised if this was a complete, the two of them came together. But again, when you got a Brad Pitt, you know that Brad Pitt, even with Tarantino, gets his way to a certain extent. You know, like
I don't know. That's Brad. That's Quentin Tarantino, and that's Brad Pitt. I think Tarantino holds more weight over his own movie than Pitt.
Yeah, I know.
Because you don't need Pitt in your Tarantino, especially by this point. This is when you don't need any. He could have fucking Joe Smo play Aldo Raine, and you're still going to see this movie.
Yeah, I guess. All right, fair.
All right, then we have Melanie Laurent as Shosanna Dreyfus / Emmanuel Mimieux.
Yeah. What is the line? What does he say? Au revoir, Shosanna!
Au revoir, Shosanna! I love the way he says Shosanna. A young Jewish cinema owner whose family was executed by Hans Landa in the opening scene. She's a French actress, filmmaker, and singer.
Hot.
Yeah, very hot.
She's hot.
Then we have Christoph Waltz as Standartenführer, in other words, Colonel.
Yeah.
Hans Landa, the Jew hunter.
Yeah. I remember seeing this in the theaters. I remember the first scene. Never heard of Christoph Waltz before. Revelation, right? This guy, right? And in this movie, it's one of the best performances I've ever seen in a movie.
Yep.
Period.
Ever.
Period.
Yes.
Right? He is, we just recently did on our show, Pint of Comics, our top 10 villains. He made my list.
And my list.
And your list, right? He's magnetic, man. This guy it's unfucking real what this guy does with this role. You simultaneously are impressed by him, you hate him, and not just for being a Nazi. He's a smug fuck Nazi.
He's a smug, and he knows more than everyone else in the room.
Right. We discussed this a little bit off air. Not a scene in the movie where you don't feel like
he knows what's going on in the entire movie.
He knows everything in this movie.
Yeah.
And he makes, he kind of makes some references to the fact that he's called the Jew hunter because that's kind of what he's known for. But he takes offense to that in a slight way. He just considers himself a great detective, right? And his job is to find people.
Because at the beginning he talks about how he doesn't necessarily hate the Jew. People just hate Jews because they hate Jews, but
right.
I love
he's not the typical Nazi who gives into that propaganda.
Right, and he's obviously not the typical Nazi for how this movie ends as well, in terms of what he's willing to do.
Oh, yeah.
And I love when he has his conversation with the French guy in the beginning, and he makes that comparison with the Jews and the rats and the squirrels, and you're just like, oh my God, this guy's brilliant.
Yeah. Christoph Waltz is he's a lord in this movie.
Yeah.
All time great.
Quentin Tarantino thought about not doing this movie. He almost gave up because this is almost a decade-long movie for him to try to do, and he couldn't find a Hans Landa and almost stopped making this movie at one point because he was like, no one can play Hans Landa.
Right.
I can't make this
and
movie.
I do have that Leonardo DiCaprio was actually considered for this first.
Yeah, briefly considered for this, and then given the role of Calvin
Especially
Candy.
with all this, the foreign language speaking.
I love Leo. He could not do this role. No one could do this role except for Christoph Waltz. And in the next movie you guys do for Django, no one could do that role except for Christoph Waltz as well.
Right, yeah. And we'll talk about it, but what a 180.
Yeah, absolutely.
He plays such a bad piece of shit human being in this one, and then he's such
a good human being.
Such a good human being
You
in the second one.
immediately just fucking love him in Django from hating him in this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what makes it good. That's why he got another Oscar.
Right.
Because he played that other role so well.
That's acting for you, right?
Yeah.
That's acting, literally.
He's not a villain. He's not, because some people get pigeonholed. Oh, you're a great villain, or you're the great stand-up guy. He's Christoph Waltz. Give him a role. He's got it.
I wish we had
Green Hornet blows.
Yeah,
he's fantastic in his role in the Green Hornet. He's great.
I wish we had gotten a good Bond film for him to have been Blofeld in.
Yeah, I never saw Spectre, but he was in Spectre, and he's in the upcoming No Time to Die.
Don't see Spectre.
Yeah.
And I love the Daniel Craig Bond films, and I'm obsessed with James Bond. Don't watch Spectre.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not very good. All right, mister, who else we got?
So we've got Eli Roth as Sergeant Donnie Donowitz, the Bear Jew. This is the guy, he's a brooding member of the Bastards, and he executes Nazis with his baseball bat.
He gained like 30 pounds of muscle for this movie.
Yeah.
All in his arms.
All in his arms. Yeah, he's fucking giant.
He really went yard on that one.
What is it? Teddy Baseball. He went yard on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking, he's great in this. Great director as well. I mean, I don't love his movies, but I love some of the stuff he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a style for sure. Like if you've ever seen Cabin Fever or Hostel, which, it's torture porn, but it's still kind of interesting torture porn.
That was the movie that made me realize that I just don't like torture porn.
Yeah.
Did you watch the one he did with Jack Black?
I did not.
We did that on Forgotten Cinema, and the name escapes me all of a sudden.
The House with the Clock
on the Walls. The House with the Clock on its Walls is amazing. It's a great kids' family film. Like, he just proves that he can do pretty much any genre.
Yeah,
He's
I mentioned
kinda
that during
pigeonholed
Death
in the
Proof.
torture. Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie's really good. It's like an 80s family movie.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to check it out. All right, cool.
Yep. And like we said before, Adam Sandler was considered to play this role, but had a scheduling conflict.
For funny people.
Yeah, for funny people.
Do you guys, a question for you guys, do you guys think he kind of is playing an Adam Sandler in that first scene he appears? Do you guys find that he's trying to like mimic Adam Sandler? I didn't notice in my last view, but this viewing I kind of went, it feels like he's trying to be Adam.
I've never picked that up, but I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, I could see it. Like, yeah, I didn't think about that at all.
Because I know they did it sequentially, so that's his first scene, and I feel like he's very Sandler, and then he kind of is himself.
I absolutely love that scene for the fact that, you got the, essentially the Nazis are fearing him because they know the bastards will kill everybody but leave someone to tell the story. And the story is that the bear Jew, Donnie Donowitz, beats you to death with a baseball bat.
And he was in that tunnel, whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying, the tunnel.
And he was cranking at it like 20 times. He hit the wall with that bat.
You hear him cracking the wall with the bat. And that whole scene where you could see the fear. The guy's not going to give up the goods.
No.
But the fear in his eyes. And, I'm giving you a chance. He's coming. The bear Jew, Bear Uden. It's so fucking good.
Closest thing we get to being in the cinema.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Watching Donnie beat Nazis is the closest thing we get to being in the cinema.
Then we get Michael Fassbender as Lieutenant Archie Hickox.
First movie I ever saw Michael Fassbender in.
Same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
First thing I ever saw him in.
He is a British commando and former film critic who goes on a mission, the Kino mission or whatever they call
Operation
it.
Kino.
Operation Kino with the Bastards. Obviously, he's from 300 and Prometheus and Alien Covenant and played Magneto in many X-Men films.
Great in First Class.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
He's great as Magneto in First Class. It's just those movies just went on a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything after First Class.
Yeah, absolutely right.
No, did you know Tarantino wanted to cast Simon Pegg?
Yes.
But also scheduling conflicts for that.
Now, I don't know how much they have to pay to break their contracts, but depending on how famous I was, like if you're at Simon Pegg's level, you break that contract to work with Tarantino.
For Tarantino?
Not just that. You can't tell me that. I mean, again, the movie's okay. You can't tell me that Adam Sandler doesn't regret making funny people, which he was essentially pretty much the star of. Seth Rogen is there too.
Right.
But even though he carried that movie, I think it would have been better for his career to have done a 15-minute part in a Tarantino movie than that.
Now, I didn't do any research now about Adam Sandler rejecting the role, but I remember when this came out, Adam Sandler said he wasn't right for the role. This wasn't a role he was ready for at the time.
Oh, okay.
He didn't want to do something violent and kind of dramatic like that.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because you know what, Roth is the bear Jew, and it works.
Exactly.
But I think Sandler could have done it, especially after seeing Uncut Gems, where
But that's much later in his career.
It is much later. I'm just saying. I think that he probably had it in him, but I don't think it's wrong to say no to something like that either.
Right.
He's also not the violent person in that film.
No, he's not. But,
right.
But he still has that level of gravitas or.
Well, Punch Drunk Love, he already proved that beforehand. Too.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I've heard that's good.
Yeah.
It's okay, but he's fantastic in it.
Okay. All right. I'll check it out.
Then we have Diane Kruger as Bridget von Hammersmark, a German film star, basically a spy for the Allies who does a rendezvous in the tavern with the bastards.
If the shoe fits.
If the shoe fits.
Tarantino actually choked her out. Told her before, he goes, I am going to choke you to the point where you're going to pass out.
Oh, my God.
This guy, the more we get into his movies,
Uma
this
Thurman
guy, after the Uma Thurman
Kruger.
thing.
Listen, I mean, that's never acceptable, but the fact that he only used 2 seconds of it in the actual final cut makes it more, you didn't even use it. You just wanted to choke her out.
Yeah.
It's that's an abuse of power.
Yeah, I think we're here to have fun with these movies, but I think there's definitely some stuff underneath the surface with this guy. And she's also kind of the focus of his foot fetish in this film.
Yes,
which is a little lower than Death Proof. Death Proof was a 10. This is maybe a 2.
Maybe a 2.
Yeah.
Right. Did you know that he talked to Nastasha Kinski for the role?
I did, and I think they said they thought she was too old, right?
That, and I just heard that they just couldn't close the deal.
Yeah, cat people.
Yeah, and there you go.
Apparently
Putting out fire.
He didn't know Diane Kruger was German. He didn't think she could play a convincing German because he'd only seen American films.
Really?
So she had to convince him, no, I'm German.
Yeah.
Well, Kruger.
Yeah. She's native German, but she had to prove that to him.
Don't just pay attention to the National Treasure films, all right?
Right. Then we have Daniel Brühl as Frederick Zoller, German army soldier who's basically his story of his heroics is made into a propaganda film. And he gets seriously infatuated with Shosanna.
He's great in this movie.
Yeah.
He's half Spanish, half German actor.
Do you want to know his whole name?
Go ahead, go for it.
Daniel Cesar Martin Brühl Gonzalez Domingo.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Why doesn't he use that? That's your poster.
Right.
He's a good actor. He was recently he plays Baron Zemo in obviously Civil War, and he came back in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He was great in that. I mean, he was a lot of humor, but he was great in that, and he's really good in this movie.
Did you guys ever watch The Alienist?
Yes.
Yeah, he's really good in that as well.
He reminds me of like a Nazi Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Like he gives off a lot of Nazi Tom Cruise vibes. Not like Valkyrie Nazi.
I think he is kind of like
If this was
a
Pine
Tom
Comics,
Cruise of Germany.
Yeah.
If this was Pine of Comics and we named episodes, this one would be called Nazi Tom Cruise. And it would not get on iTunes.
Right, that's true. Then we have Till Schweiger as Sergeant Hugo Stiglitz.
As soon as you said that, I saw the fucking... see, that's what I'm talking about. I would have loved to have seen a movie where every bastard gets like that title card and a little bit about them. But Hugo Stiglitz is fucking badass.
Yeah, isn't he the only one who has music?
He is. He's the only one that gets the title card, too. Yeah.
Yeah. A former German army soldier who murdered numerous Gestapo officers and recruited by the bastards.
I've got a quote from my wife. So I was watching this, and she's not paying attention, just kind of reading. But, she's in and out, as she always is. And the scene where he stabs the guy in the face through the pillow, she goes, that's fucking gross.
Well, my favorite kill of any movie is when they show him stuffing his fist down a guy's throat to kill him.
I love that, yes.
Stuffs his fist down a guy's throat.
Wakes him up and just...
And also... in the scene at the end in the basement bar, blows the guy's dick off.
So good.
Like he doesn't just shoot the guy in the dick; he pushes the gun really hard into his crotch, which is already like that's got to hurt.
Yep.
Then fucking pulls the trigger.
And I'm surprised that guy got some shots off after that too.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but yeah.
Apparently, he didn't want to do this role because he's born German. He hates Nazis.
He didn't want to wear the uniform.
He didn't want to wear the uniform, and then they told him, "Well, you get to kill a whole bunch of Nazis." Yeah. Probably told him about the fist throw thing, and he was like, "I'm all in." But what's interesting is after that, in Valkyrie, he played another Nazi officer, and he's not one of the guys who was in on the conspiracy.
Oh, I've never seen Valkyrie.
I've seen Valkyrie once. It was decent. I don't remember much more about it.
If you check out our Forgotten Cinema episode of Valkyrie, we might be able to change your mind.
All right, I'll check it out.
On ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com.
ForgottenEntertainment.com.
Hey, he's allowed to do that.
Hey, he's the boss, right?
That's right.
I will say I didn't realize this because I don't know much about German cinema, but on IMDb, it says like when it starts off, he is like Germany's biggest director or most popular director of film. So I guess Till Schweiger is like Steven Spielberg over there.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are pretty famous, foreign actors and filmmakers.
I know he's a big actor. I didn't know he was a director.
Yeah, it's an actor and director. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in King Arthur, the 2004.
Another Forgotten Cinema episode. Check that out. I might be able to change your mind.
The Replacement Killers.
Like
I like it. Field actually ended up liking it. Yes.
I did not like that one.
He thought he was going to hate it, but it turned out he didn't love it, but he did like it.
All right, moving on. Jackie Ito as Marcel. That is Shoshana's lover and film projectionist in the cinema. And he was also an uncredited slave in Django Unchained.
Okay.
BJ Novak as Smithson Udovich, the little man.
The little man.
The little man. He a member of the Bastards, and he's the one with Aldo at the end of the movie. You'll know him as the writer and actor for The Office.
Yep, he played Brian.
And I think executive producer as well.
Yep, towards the end, I think, yeah.
He had to take a year off. He was in Indonesia in The Office while he was filming.
That's right.
Oh,
that's right.
His high school friends.
Yeah. Omar Doom as Omar Ulmer. Member of the Bastards unit. He poses as the Italian cameraman, Dominic De Coco.
He's the only one that has a decent Italian accent, too.
Right, yeah.
When Pitt says, Gorlami.
He
sounds like a Tennessee guy.
Homer knows third best, so you're the cameraman.
Buongiorno.
I don't know any. That's why you know third best.
And he's the one who says it the best. Like, right, because you get Eli Roth is Antonio Margretti. And then actually it's like he gets Dominic De Coco out sounding pretty good.
Yeah.
I do love, it's like a throwaway line, but I love Donnie Donowitz going, you got 30 yards, you got to make this shot. Can you do it? He goes, I guess I have to.
Yeah.
That's a great scene, too.
I love that line.
Yeah.
I have no choice.
Which were real, by the way. Those gloves with the
those are real guns.
The wrist guns,
that's a real. That was like I think they said it was like essentially a last ditch effort. Like if you're out of ammo, you're out of everything.
That one shot
you're
left.
getting one
He
shot.
just jammed it right in the guy.
Yeah, we're describing, if you've never seen the movie, these little gloves that they put on that have like one shot.
They were Boba Fett gloves. They remind me totally of Boba
You're
Fett.
right.
Yeah.
These one shot little guns on the back of the glove, and essentially the trigger is also the barrel. So when you push it into something, it shoots. And
it's like a nail gun.
It was very crazy, very crazy.
Yeah, so
and Omar Doom was in Death Proof.
Death Proof and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
He loves to reuse his actors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dominic De Coco. Sam Levine as Gerald Hirschberg, another member of the Bastards. He's Neil Schweiber from Freaks and Geeks.
He is, and that's why he got the role. Quentin Tarantino is a huge Freaks and Geeks fan, and invited him.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. And little known fact, he had 2 roles in this film.
And what was the other one?
The other one you can't tell. In the 999, the Hitler scene in the beginning, someone's in the back painting the...
oh, okay.
That's him painting
that's
as well.
funny.
Yeah.
All right, we got a few more here. Let's keep going. August Diehl as Sturmbannführer Major Dieter Hellstrom of the Gestapo. He's the one in the tavern that questions Fassbender's accent.
I will say this, and this is kind of one of those things where I just never realized it. I never realized that was the same character that's in the restaurant earlier.
Yeah.
Never.
And doesn't he take her into the car as well?
Yes, and I never realized that. That's the same guy.
I didn't even realize that until you just said it.
Yeah.
It's like the third or fourth time I've seen this movie.
In the restaurant scene with the strudel.
He's that guy.
He's that guy.
douchebag.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is so weird that, he ends up... Because don't they say, like, that village is, like, 30 miles outside of Paris?
Yeah.
Like, so what's he doing out there? But whatever, it's a movie.
No, he took his crew out for the other...
Yeah.
Do any of you guys get a Vince Vaughn vibe off of him?
I don't get a Vince Vaughn vibe necessarily. I know this guy from somewhere, and when I looked him up on IMDb, I don't watch German shit, so I definitely...
Okay, yeah.
It seemed to me he was familiar, but he definitely was not familiar to me.
To me, it was sort of Vince Vaughn, just like, maybe not Cell Block 99, but some Vince Vaughn when he's just real mouthy.
Oh, he's...
I can see that, yeah.
His character is certainly a button pusher, yeah.
Then we have Dennis Menochet as Perrier Le Padit. That's the French farmer in the opening scene. Now, he was also in Hannibal Rising and Robin Hood. And how good is that scene?
Oh, it's like one of cinema's greatest opening scenes, period.
That makes the movie for you.
It's so tense. You're literally clenching your ass watching this scene because you don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And at this point, the first time you see the movie, you don't know Hans Landa yet. So you don't know that he's always you get the feeling, but you don't realize he's perpetually one step ahead of everybody. It's incredible.
And he's in the beginning, he's out there chopping. Well, he's
chopping
just chopping a chopping block, really. He's not chopping anything.
Okay.
The first thing I noticed.
I noticed the same thing. He's chopping the stump. Yeah.
He's just going, got to get my workout and got to get my 15 reps.
Yeah. And I guess this is another thing I never realized is that one of his daughters is Léa
Seydoux from
Spectre. Yeah. I never realized that.
I didn't know that.
I'm watching her. She's the redhead, right?
Yep.
The one that he kind of is in charge.
The one that he kisses the hand of and goes, each of your daughters is more beautiful than the
Does the wife seem pretty young to you?
That wasn't the wife. That was one of his daughters.
All three were daughters?
Yes.
All of them were.
I think all three.
Okay,
one of the most beautiful daughters in all the land.
All right, one of them seemed to be in charge of the others.
That I think is maybe a situation.
That's a young wife.
I'm going to write this. I think maybe the wife died of like cholera 2 years prior.
Okay.
And the oldest daughter, who looked better than the younger daughters in terms of like she looked younger, is like maybe like the marm now.
All right. Yeah. All right, I'll do a few more really quickly. Sylvester Groth as Joseph Goebbels, the German filmmaker. Martin Wuttke as Adolf Hitler. And I kind of like how they got a guy that didn't look classically like Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. Mike Myers as General Ed Fenech of the British Army. Julie Dreyfus as Francesco Mondino, the interpreter for filmmaker Goebbels. She also played Sophie Fatale in Kill Bill Volume 1.
Sexiest sex scene ever is when Goebbels is railing her.
Yeah, you see a really quick flash. Richard Sammel as Sergeant Werner Rockman. Now this guy was born to play a Nazi. This is the guy who got his head bashed in, who wouldn't give up the goods.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. This guy plays a Nazi or a German soldier in probably 90% of his roles.
He's good though,
and
he's
so
not
good.
You kind of feel for him as a soldier.
Yep.
Because you don't really know his allegiance to the Nazi party. You just know his allegiance to his people.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, I'm not going to give up my men. And it's just like, and he's brave the whole way through.
He is.
You got this for killing Jews? For bravery.
Yeah, that's for bravery.
That's what's so crazy about. That's what's so crazy about World War II, is that they were still a nation's army. you know, and like it doesn't mean everyone like
you had no choice,
right? Not every one of them was a Nazi, you know. Unfortunately, they
granted,
were,
you know, kill all the Nazis. I'm okay with that.
Oh no, no,
no. It's unfortunate that you have to be one.
Right.
Right. Like, I love that scene when the bear Jew comes and kills him, and then Eli Roth calls for the next guy, and he immediately gets shot.
Yeah.
So then it's the third guy, and he's like, "Yep." He just points right to it.
Oh yeah, he has no problem.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. And he's got to wear the swastika on his head for the rest of his life.
What are you going to do when you take off that uniform? You know, burn it. Well, that's what I thought, and that doesn't sit well.
That doesn't abide.
Yeah, because you could take that off.
Alexander Felling as Sergeant Wilhelm. He's the German soldier in the basement who just had a baby. And he's awesome in this.
Shut up,
great.
bitch.
Yeah.
You speak really good for a native German. Yeah, I also think so.
Yeah.
I surprised myself.
Oh, man. Samuel L. Jackson, uncredited as the narrator.
Gotta have Sammy in there somewhere.
Yep. Harvey Keitel, uncredited as the voice of the OSS commander.
Yep.
And Quentin Tarantino himself, uncredited as an American soldier in the Nation's Pride movie and as a scalped Nazi.
And the man whose hands choke Kruger.
Yeah.
And the hands.
For
that's
real.
right.
Nation's Pride being the movie that is shown at the end. That was an actual 5-minute movie directed by Eli Roth, and I think his brother helped him out
His brother
too.
did second unit on it.
Okay, so yeah, the Roth brothers.
And that is the end of my list, but it's only about half of the players.
Many,
Oh yeah, you said you were going to stop short, and you did like 18. That's fine. This is a hard one to go second by second through, right?
Right.
But let's talk a little bit about that opening scene.
Yes.
Right. We're gonna pick highlights in this one. Opening scene, right? Butler, just kind of set it up. What's going on here?
So you get this farmer chopping his fucking stump. He's just chopping away, not chopping wood, just chopping that stump. His daughter is doing clothespin hangers. He's just a nice, quiet dairy farm. And in the distance, you hear motorcycles. You hear basically a caravan. What comes up is Hans Land and the Nazis. The father gets very upset. You know, go get that much water. I gotta wash up for these guys. I know what's gonna happen. You get the feeling. I mean, you know your World War II movie. You get the feeling who's coming.
Right.
He goes in. He goes to his house. Hans Landa comes in, introduces himself to his daughter. You sit down, and Hans Landa basically explains to this father that there is the family, the Dreyfuses, who are unaccounted for, not shown as escaped, not shown as processed in an internment camp. They're somewhere out there. Someone is hiding the Dreyfuses, basically, and he's gonna find them. And now they've been to their farm before, the La Petite farm, and they have found nothing. But that was under previous management.
Yeah.
And the Jew hunter, he gets his man.
He gets his man.
Yes.
What does he say? He makes a comment about how whenever there's a change of management, there's always going to be some redundancy.
Overlap. And basically starts questioning him. And he's very sinister. You get the idea that he is very smart. He's very clever.
Drinks their milk from their cows.
Yes.
In one take, which... As I'm watching
One
this
big
going,
long gulp, yeah.
how many takes does that take? Because you can only drink some.
It better be just one.
Like, did Christoph has to do like 8 glasses of it? I'm like, oh my God. Whenever you see an actor eating food, it's just like, you think that's like, oh, you got to eat there. No, he had to eat 27, 30, 40 times.
Oh, man.
At what point is that actually just colored water that he's drinking?
Well, it looked pretty creamy and thick.
Yeah, no, it's, ugh. But he basically says, listen, I know that you have Jews here, basically. They start speaking English. They start by speaking... He speaks German, then he goes to French. Yep. He goes, listen, my French isn't great, even though it's fucking fantastic.
Oh,
yeah. He's very fluent in several languages.
He speaks 4 different languages in this movie. He speaks English, French, German, and then Italian at the end. So, I mean, and again, he's just constantly playing with people.
Yeah, so he knows English he's only using English because he's pretty sure the Dreyfus is down, won't know English.
Under the floorboards.
And he ends up being able to convince Le Petit, like, I'll stop coming and harassing your family, and you'll get some bonuses if you tell me where the Dreyfuses are. Yep. And he basically goes, they're under your floor, aren't they? And Le Petit has to give him up. And it's a heartbreaking
But before that, he asks if he could break out his pipe. Because
oh my God, he pulls out like an 8-foot pipe.
asks, you mind if I have my pipe? He says, no.
It's a little corncob pipe.
Yeah, he's got a little corncob pipe.
Then he gets out of a box. Meanwhile, like, he pulls out like Hans Landa pulls it out like a cartoon character. It's like a horn.
It looks like a Sherlock
It's like a horn of plenty.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It almost certainly is a Sherlock Holmes because Hans Landa probably knows Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure he thinks of himself as the German Holmes.
Right.
So we already know that he keeps very large things in his jacket pocket.
Yes. We know a full-size shoe fits in there very easily as well. Now, do you think... Now, here's something they don't ever touch on. Do you think that he leaves the farm do you think he leaves the farm with them untouched, or do you think he kills them too?
He absolutely kills them.
Yeah.
He's got a reputation. And they hid Jews for 2 years.
Yeah.
He hid them under the previous management. Hans Landa only got the information because he already knew Le Petit had the information. He goes, they're here, aren't they? They're under your floorboards, aren't they? He didn't need Le Petit. It was all just an act of screw with them. They're all dead.
Yeah, they blow the floorboards away, kill the entire family. But Shosanna, the oldest daughter, gets away. And he weirdly lets her get away. It's like a game to him almost. Like, because he could tell his guys get in the Jeeps, and chase her down, and obviously does not. So obviously he gets some kind of joy out of letting her live, knowing that her family just got fucking machine gunned to death.
Much like the Bastards, you leave one away to tell the tale.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now he never got a look at her other than from behind running across the field.
Right.
So he doesn't know really what she looks like, unless maybe they had pictures. Who
they
knows?
might have had pictures. I'm
going to go with that.
Yeah,
because it comes a mystery later on when they're in the restaurant.
When he meets her again,
he seems to clearly know who she is.
He asks who her aunt and uncle are and how they died. Now they might not be Jews themselves.
Okay,
but he has probably done the background on who they were, who their relatives are. He knows. He knows who she is. He's not doing anything because Goebbels and Brühl's character likes her, and he's like, all right, I'll play this game because he probably knows that Hitler's days are running short.
Right.
And that's what makes that scene so beautiful and intense too. You know, because he always knows something that you don't know he knows.
Always knows.
Jump ahead to the end of the movie. Confronted with the bastards portraying the Italian characters. He speaks fluent Italian.
Yeah.
He knows he's getting nothing from them other than basic one-word answers.
Grazie.
Yes.
Grazie. He knows it's them, but he has a longer game at play. So he lets it go on. This guy, there's never a point. That's why when we get to the end, when he gets his comeuppance, it's extra sweet. Because there's never one point in this movie he's behind the eight ball.
Right.
He's always one step ahead of everybody. He's always going to beat them in any situation, and it does not matter. So in the end, when he does win at the end in his own game.
Yeah.
But he gets you win, but here's an asterisk.
Yeah, he gets a memento there.
Here's a memento, and you could fucking keep this around for the rest of your life. Did you guys notice? I had never noticed this prior to this viewing. I read a stat, but there was a couple different stats. This movie is mostly not in English.
It's 30% English, I think.
And you barely even notice it.
Right.
Doesn't matter. The action, the actions of the character are so great.
Yep.
The dialogue, the way it's emoted, you don't need to know what's going on to know what's going on.
Right.
You could mute the film, and obviously you'll lose some stuff because the sound and the music is incredible, but you know what's going on.
Yeah, I had never really focused on the fact that like English is the least of the languages spoken in this movie. You get a lot of French, you get a lot of German, a minor amount of Italian. That's you can throw that out the window. But French and German are pretty much the primary languages spoken in this film.
Which when they do English, when they do speak English, it makes sense. It works in the film. They don't just all of a sudden speak English for the American audience's sake.
Right.
They have a reason. Can I speak English? It's both of our tongues. Let's just speak a common tongue. They explain it and it's done. I love that. I hate it in films that take place in the past or films that are European or even science fiction films where all of a sudden they speak English without, give me some kind of explanation as to why.
The universal translator.
Yeah, that's all I need. I'm okay with the universal translator.
Yeah.
Just tell me it's there.
Right. Right. Agreed. Any scene in this movie that really stands out to you? That you feel is extremely strong. Let's talk about that.
The scene, and I've already alluded to this before, with Hans and Emmanuel / Shosanna eating strudel and drinking a glass of milk in the diner.
This scene is essentially a sequel to that first scene. These two scenes match up perfectly because, 4 years later?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay.
This is the Pacino De Niro scene in
Yeah.
So they're in there because he's trying to vet out the cinema and like, what are your capabilities? He's like, the chief of security or something like that for this operation. And so they're just talking, and he's so casual and he's so gallant and chivalrous, and you know, she's just sitting there when he comes in. Don't they have actually some music, like there's like a heartbeat type of?
It's a theme from, and I wish I wrote this down. It's a theme from some horror movie.
Yeah.
That when he walks in behind her, they play like a couple bars from. Which this whole scene is hilarious because she's eating lunch with Goebbels.
Yeah.
And she's not unnerved until this guy comes in.
And it actually unnerves you, the viewer.
Right.
Because you see him, you know he's there, you don't even see his face yet. and you hear this sort of heartbeat music or whatever, and your heart just gets going. You're like, oh my God, what is going to happen here?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Tarantino movie, which is great because you don't, like, from the start, you don't know who's going to make it out alive right from the start. So she could die in that scene, even if it's only halfway through the film. It doesn't matter. And
he orders strudel, and he takes the liberty of ordering her drink, which is milk, which is what they offered him, or what he asked for at their house
which
4
is also
years ago.
Non-kosher, which he knows she won't drink.
Yep.
Because she can't.
And he also asked for the milk in French at the house, which he knew she would understand.
Right.
Because she didn't speak English. She learned English, when she got to France. Yeah, that scene, it's super unnerving.
The cream on the strudel.
And the way the cream on the strudel.
It's also milk. She can't have that either.
Yep.
That's why he puts it on her strudel to make her eat it.
All right. I never thought of that.
Because he knows the whole time. But he let her go, so why not let her go again? He knows that he's torturing her.
He gets off on this show.
Yeah, he knows.
Oh, yeah. He knows that she knows that he knows, and that he loves that.
I love the when he leaves, she exhales. Like she
cries and exhales because it's the worst moment. She could have died. She's eating dinner with the worst person in the world who murdered her family. The emotion on her face in those 2 seconds and it cuts is like Academy Award right there.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's absolutely insane. And this is where we also kind of get the beginning of her relationship with the Daniel Brühl character, who is, who you think is just essentially a German soldier who is a cinephile, and he's very interested in her.
Yep.
She's changing out the letters on her theater. But then it turns out that he's the story, or he's the impetus for the story of the movie that they're going to be premiering.
Right. And actor.
Right. Yeah. He almost, they said that they modeled him after Audie Murphy, who was a World War II vet who starred in movies about World War II afterwards. But what did he do? What was his heroic, Lloyd?
His heroic that he was in basically a church tower all by himself, surrounded by, 370, enemy soldiers, and he killed them all.
He didn't kill them all.
Well, he shot them all.
He killed most of them, and then the rest ran away.
Retreated, that's right.
Which
right.
I actually love that detail. On day 1, I killed 50. On day 2, I killed 150. On day 3, I killed 70. On day 4, the rest of them retreated.
Yeah. Right.
And he is, and we see in jumping back in the restaurant where he sees her. That all these other German soldiers are falling over him.
Right. He's not like telling her of his exploits at all.
Right.
But it's other people coming up to him, congratulating him, patting him on the back. And she's like, all right, what the fuck's going on? Who are you?
Yeah, they do a great job where like one of the soldiers and the girlfriend get the autograph. And then in the background, you see them going to sit down and they're pointing and talking like, we just met fucking Tom Hanks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I love is he doesn't like that though.
No.
And until the end, you get the feeling that he might actually be a decent person if he wasn't a Nazi. Until the very end,
right?
When he's watching his own film, as he's watching those people dying, that's not. He loves cinema. He's great that he's
not
an actor.
Enjoying it.
He is not enjoying watching people die.
Right. He even makes the comment about what was it like when he's talking to her?
I'll watch my other premieres.
Right. I'll watch my other premieres, and but once this thing went into like the third reel. And I thought that was a weird line kind of from Goebbels because you think he would like love that stuff. But when he's like, I understand, boy, like even one of the worst Nazis understands that this might not be something anybody would want to watch.
Right.
Their exploits of killing 300 plus or 200 plus people.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Brühl, really good in this. And I'm glad that he's kind of done more stuff since then. I haven't seen him in a ton of things, but.
Yeah, you do. You find yourself actually liking him. Maybe sort of rooting for him a little bit.
Absolutely.
Until he comes into the theater, the projection room, and then what he does in there.
Absolutely. He does,
he can't take no for an answer, busts down the door and goes, I'm not used to taking no for an answer.
Yeah, you don't say no to me. Ask the 300 people out there who are dead.
Come on, Zoller. You were such a nice guy before.
Yeah, that line bothered me because, like you said, you got it perfectly. He gets rapey. And not only does he get rapey, but then he uses that, you don't say no to me. Ask the 300 people that said, that tried to take me out.
He shows his Nazi self.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And up until this point, you see him as nothing but a polite guy. And even though she has all the right reasons to not want anything to do with him, to hate him, you're almost like, give the guy a chance,
She does feel bad for shooting him at the end.
Yeah, and that's what bothered me some, because she hates Nazis. Right? And she could see through this guy. She doesn't want anything to do with him, and she shoots him dead apparently,
Right.
you know. But then all it takes is him moaning a little bit, and she goes over there.
Well, that's human, though. I mean,
Yeah, she's never-
No, I don't.
She's
I don't
never
think
killed
so.
anyone.
anyone. She's not one of the bastards.
right.
What I don't think is smart of her is she doesn't kill him. She kills him too soon.
Like, what's her intent to go over there? Just to comfort him until he dies?
I don't know.
That's what I didn't.
I like
didn't really get that part.
I like that scene because I feel like that's human.
Yeah.
I feel like if I pulled the gun out right now and shot someone, even if I wanted to defend myself or shoot them, I'd immediately be like, "Fuck, what did I do?"
Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. But she's not going to say I'm sorry.
no.
Whoa, did the person you shoot have an like a swastika on them though? Like,
Well, yeah.
that's different. Then
I
you're
guess
like,
that is
I
different.
guess.
Yeah.
I guess that is different. But yeah, she's never killed anybody before.
She should have played the game a little longer. I was surprised she didn't play it like lock the door. All right, now I'm going to shoot you. Like,
Yeah.
wait till your real hits. Wait till you see that your results were good. Wait till you see that you don't have to do like a plan B or anything. She just acts way too quickly, I feel like. She
Yeah.
should have played that lock the door. Okay, now get ready. Now take your pants off. Now take your jacket off. Like,
She should have gotten the pants around the
Yeah,
ankles.
get him when
give
he
it
was
3.5
couldn't-
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Get the pants around the ankles. Get him semi, there.
Make sure your reel is playing before you risk your life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I liked about, like, we talked about the use of language and the English only being used when it should be used.
Right.
I read a couple of people online doing some research on this, almost complaining about it, but I like it, is the fact that her final message, so at the end, they're going to blow the theater up, and she films this bit of her in English, kind of saying, I'm the Jews' revenge and all of this stuff, but she does it in English, and I read a few people saying, well, the theater, most of these people would not be speaking English. But I think part of it that's scarier is they have no fucking clue what she's saying. It's almost alien to them, like this giant head. Because the chapter is, what is it called? The Revenge of the Head or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah. And it's like, imagine you're in this building on fucking fire. You got these two Italian Jews up in the balcony shooting everybody, and then you've got this thing and you don't know what the fuck it's saying. Like, I don't know, it's all terrifying.
I think they make a mention of it, make sure it's in English. He says that when they're filming, when they're doing a little bit where they're filming it, where she's on the staircase.
Because they didn't want anybody to understand what they're going to do.
If you're French or if you're German, there's one language that almost everybody in Europe learns, and that's English.
Yeah.
It is to make sure that the Germans understand it, and whoever's French in the audience, because they didn't know who they were inviting, everyone's going to understand her message to these Nazis.
Right.
Which is, I'm going to kill everybody. And it kind of works too, and I don't know if I buy it, but one of the theories for the Tarantino verse is that it's this fact that Hitler died in a cinema that made cinema such a big part of what goes on in the Tarantino verse afterward. That because everyone loves cinema, that's why Pulp Fiction talks about it all the time. Kill Bill, they're all obsessed with these characters and the way cinema is. That's why life is heightened in the Tarantino verse, is because Hitler was killed in a movie theater watching a movie.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know
Not sure if I buy that, but
yeah, I don't
it's
buy that either.
interesting.
But I like that theory.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no fucking way that's the reason.
And
But I like
it also has a better impact as an American viewer, to hear the
Oh, for
words
sure, yeah.
rather than reading them. Because
yeah.
what is it? The words are, "My name is Shosanna Dreyfus, and this is the face of Jewish vengeance."
The face of Jewish vengeance, which is a great fucking line.
She's essentially the ghost in Raiders.
Yeah.
That the whole thing I'm watching, I'm going like, she's just it's the arc opening up.
Oh, it is perfect the way the film is burning in the background, so it's rising up her face, and then when the film is completely gone, the screen, it's just smoke, and you still see the
Projected on it.
projection of
She's
her
laughing.
face in the smoke. Oh, it's brilliant.
And by the way, I don't know if you read this or not, but like the flame burned way hotter than it should have, and apparently like came very close to killing Eli Roth. And,
Even the swastika that falls down should
not
not. It
supposed
was
to fall
planned
down.
that way, but the heat.
Tarantino, again, maybe another abuse of his actors, who knows? He filmed that scene wearing a fire retardant, like asbestos suit. And Eli Roth and Omar Doom are on this balcony for real in this building that's on fire. And they said that they were literally like getting singed from, I can't remember if it was supposed to burn at like 700 degrees and was burning at like 1400, but
I think it was even more.
It was absolutely crazy. So that covers a lot of those things. Here's a scene we got to talk about. The fucking basement bar.
Basement's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of my favorite scenes. It's the most memorable scene of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Apart from Hans Landa's introduction.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you. It's a centerpiece scene for sure.
It is, yeah.
It's so the bastards
In
are
the fucking basement.
the bastards are meeting up with Archie, the character played by Michael Fassbender, who has been sent in to meet up with Diane. What is her name again? Diane
Von Hammersmark.
Yeah,
Yep.
Bridget von
von
Hammersmark, who is a essentially a traitor to the Nazi people, to the German people. She's working with the British government as an insider, and they're all going to meet, not all the bastards, it's just going to be two of the bastards and the
two that speak German.
The two that speak German.
Stiglitz and Wiki, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And they're going to meet up. And they're going to meet up with her, and they're going to be her
plus ones
to the movie premiere, right? And they're supposed to be the ones that actually carry out the mission, not Omar and Donnie the Bear Jew. But things don't turn out the way they should turn out. Because what's wrong with this situation?
Wilhelm has had a baby.
Well, not just that. What is wrong with this situation from the get-go? Why does Aldo Raine have a problem with
it's a fucking basement?
Because they're fighting in a basement.
You ever fight in a basement? Yeah.
It's got no exit points, and it's a fucking basement.
So they're essentially thinking that this is a perfect way for her to turn on them somehow.
Right.
And they don't want to do it, but they end up doing it.
Yeah.
It's a basement bar. It's in the middle of nowhere. And there's also supposed to be what? Nobody there.
No one there.
They get down there, and as you were going to say,
Wilhelm has had a baby. Maximilian
was born.
It's wunderbar.
This is very good. And about 6 or 7 soldiers were given the night off by their commanding officer, and they're there partying. They're playing the game of guess who I am with the cards.
It's heads
the card
up
on your head. Heads up.
Yeah. So nothing is turning out right. This whole scene is a scene of nothing turning out right.
Right.
The wrong people are there. Too many Nazis. It's in a basement. And then all of a sudden, what gets called out? The accent, right? Because the August Deal character is in the back of the bar, drinking a boot, by the way. He's drinking a boot.
Yep.
And he hears this strange accent this is the crazy part. Michael Fassbender.
Not Max. Wilhelm notices the accent first and comes over.
Wilhelm notices.
He goes, I also have an ear for accents.
Yes.
Comes over, says the ear for accents thing. The crazy part thing is Michael Fassbender is English and German and has a natural German accent that they had to have him dummy down not to sound German because he's essentially coming off when he's introduced in the movie, he's got a very effete British accent.
Yes,
very
chap.
proper
Very
old
yes.
chap. Yeah.
Yes, I believe it's called Royal. Fuck. I've had to do it before. Something pronunciation. Oh my god, never mind.
All right. I could lose that, no problem, Butler. No, but he's got this, very effete accent, very proper pronunciation. He gets kind of called out for not having much of a German accent, to the point where the what's the character's name? The August Deal character, the SS guy.
Yeah, hold on. There's so many I got to go through here.
Major Hellstrom.
Dieter Hellstrom.
So much to the point where Hellstrom can immediately call out where Stiglitz is from. He says, a Major Frankfurt
and something else.
And Major Berlin or something. He knows. So all of a sudden we get them sitting down and they want to play a game. They're going to play heads up. And this whole thing is tense, right? Is
from the moment they're down there.
From the jump. This is super tense. Like everything has the right way to go wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most uncomfortable scene in cinema. In terms of kind of office uncomfortable, when things are going wrong and you're just like, I don't want to be here. And I always talk on Forgotten Cinema, these are my least favorite scenes usually. But this is so uncomfortable and so tense, and the stakes are so high.
And it's so
well done. I think it's
the
fact that the stakes are so high, yes, and it's so well done that you're just like, I don't want to be here, but I have to.
I can't look away.
I can't. Yeah. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful, and that's what makes it so great.
Yeah.
It's like everyone lingers a little too long, but it works because usually when someone lingers too long, you check out. But these guys lingering too long just makes the dread and the intensity just build, and something's going to blow.
And then Hilkoff yells at him. I'm sorry, but they are my friends. So you're the stranger here. You got to go. It's like, what are you? Oh my god, dude! Come on, Heathcliff.
Yeah. Do you guys think it was weird that none of the now there could be a reason for this, but do you think it was weird that none of the the German officer or any of the
enlisted men
didn't recognize Hugo Stiglitz?
That's my first note in the scene is no one knows Stiglitz
because Stiglitz has a little memory during this scene of being whipped
for insubordination.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be this big deal. Everyone knows Stiglitz. His name's in the paper. They show his face big time in the newspaper.
That was one thing I had. I kind of almost could get why the younger people wouldn't know, but I felt like Hellstrom would definitely fucking go,
because
fuck, that's Hugo Stiglitz.
I'm assuming Hellstrom is the one that whipped him because that's when Hellstrom came in the room. That's when he had his memory.
So? Okay.
Yeah.
I never, in my head, it's really stupid, But I almost just pictured he's picturing where he'd rather be anywhere else in that moment, and that's like
his happy place.
There's a great scene in the Val Kilmer Top Secret movie where someone's boring him, and he starts daydreaming about someone whipping him.
Yeah.
And I felt like this was very similar. Like he's just like zoning out, and he's just thinking of violence. Like that's his thing. But you're absolutely right. It would have been a little better if they showed Hellstrom whipping him, because it would have added even that. Like it didn't need it. But it would have added that much more to when he blows his fucking balls off.
Right.
You know, and one of the other things I love about the scene where he blows his balls off is the fucking blood geyser.
Oh, yeah.
It like
right up.
shoots right up in the air. This becomes a Mexican standoff. And we're essentially, everybody's got guns pointed at everybody's balls under the table. Everybody dies, right?
Yeah,
everybody dies.
But before that, Hickox gets my favorite line in the whole movie. If you don't mind, old boy, if it's all blown on the spot, I'd like to go out speaking the kings.
Yeah.
There's a special spot in hell reserved for those who don't finish their scotch.
Yes. Yeah, that is good.
That was
that
great
is some
line.
damn good stuff. I love that whole fucking line. I'm like, that's when I knew Fassbender was like, I want to watch anything this guy's. I didn't realize he's in 300, but obviously he's in 300. But after this, I was like, I would watch him take a dump in a toilet bowl. Like that little speech he gives right there was like, yes.
As he's like very
absolutely.
coolly lighting a cigarette, and
He knows he's gonna die.
I
and
even
it's
like
just
his bits in Alien Covenant.
oh, he's good.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
fantastic
Yeah.
in both Prometheus and Covenant. Like his acting,
he's good as
Fassbender's
David.
so good.
He's good as David. Just not great products, but and what Lloyd? What gives him away? What is it that actually gives him away?
Well, when they're ordering drinks, what were they? I don't know. Was it whiskey they were ordering?
He orders 3 scotches.
Scotches,
Yeah.
that's right. And he holds up 3 fingers of his hand, but he holds up the wrong 3 fingers. Germans don't hold up the normal
Index,
middle finger,
middle,
ring
ring.
finger, and index finger. They hold up
Thumb,
the thumb and
index,
put down the ring finger.
and middle. And what I love about that is that when he does it, because you get a feeling that Hellstrom is going to back off. When he says, he goes, I know I've been a pest, and you get a feeling, he says, let me buy you guys a drink. You get a feeling that he actually might be backing off at that point. Because when he holds up the fingers, Hellstrom's eyes go right to the fingers.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
They look
expression
right at him.
changes immediately.
And
That's when everything changes. And you don't find out about the fingers until...
As a viewer, you don't know what he saw, but you know he saw something.
Right. And I hadn't seen it in a while. And after everybody gets killed, I'm like, where's the scene where they explain the fingers? I didn't remember that Diane Kruger, because she survives the thing, is able to tell Aldo Raine that, he held up in Germany, we hold up these 3,
Yeah. She's got no problem blowing away Wilhelm either.
No, you know what? And
because he calls her a traitor.
Oh yeah. No, it's even worse though, right? Whore or
The
slut
traitor
or
is
something.
whore, yeah, and the other guy calls
shut
her a
up, slut.
Yeah, that's
shut
it.
up, slut.
But she's not she's a German. She's not. Well, I feel like that's probably what most Germans who didn't believe in the Nazi Party back then thought of themselves. Like, I'm not a traitor. You're a fucking traitor.
Yeah.
You're ruining the world. You're ruining how everyone will see us for like forever.
Truth.
True.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, it's we've got great relationships with Germany, now, and people love going there. But unfortunately, that's going to hang over for a while.
Oh yeah.
And it should it? No, but it's going to hang over for a while. Let's get to the very end, because I want to talk about one last thing before we get into to ratings and some box office and stuff like that. The final bit with Hans Landa. So Hans Landa comes across in this whole thing. You never really get a feeling that he's like a rah-rah Nazi, right? You just get a feeling that he's been hired. He's
doing his job.
He's doing his job, and he's an evil fuck. But you never really get like the full throttle, I'm a Nazi thing, right?
I'm a great detective, and this job allows me to be a great detective.
Correct.
For sure.
Right. Even when he's talking about like comparing the Jew to a rat, he's not saying that out of full like hatred for Jews. He's making an allegory for, how he feels.
Other people don't like rats.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with rats.
There's no reason you don't like a rat.
Right.
You just don't because they don't feel
He's
right.
He's not Hitler or Goebbels. And what happens at the end of this movie is that he essentially sells out the Nazis, tells everybody, okay, I'm going to let you do what you do at the movie theater. I'm going to let Donnie Donowitz and Omar blow the fucking place up. Kill Hitler, kill all the main guys there, right? But here's what you're going to do for me, right? And what are they going to do for him, Butler?
Give him his full severance pay, everything that he would have gotten under his command in terms of pension and payment, and they're going to give him a Medal of Honor. In fact, all the bastards are going to get Medal of Honors thanks to him.
Everybody.
Which he winks at Raine for, and then he asked for it in his own private residence in Nantucket Island, paid for by the U.S. government allowing this to happen and for pushing a TNT device underneath Goebbels' seat to begin with, which he does do.
He does do.
He just takes the dynamite and puts it right under that chair.
You know, what we didn't say is actually that Operation Kino is, in fact, pretty much the same operation that Shosanna has conjured up.
Oh, it just happens
to blow up that theater.
Right.
They just happen to have the same exact plan, which is a little added bonus.
And technically, hers is the one that actually works.
Right.
Because they're all barred in. Yeah, they can't move.
It technically doesn't work for anybody in the end because she ends up dead. And you know, you don't know what happens to half of the bastards, but you assume most of them have to have lived because they weren't there.
They would have all gotten out. The war would have ended at that point. You killed everyone in the Nazi party who was a leader.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what he keeps saying. He says it more than once at the end. For essentially ending the war tonight.
Oh, you asked me to end the war tonight. I'll take that gig. Would you take that? I'd take that.
I'd take that.
But you're going to go home. You're going to take that uniform off on Nantucket Island. That I cannot abide.
Yeah. And
how about you, Yudovich? Can you abide?
I can't abide, sir.
as he's scalping the driver.
Right.
That's one scene that I honestly felt doesn't fit necessarily. Now, again, not a Nazi, but I felt like would Londa have been that upset when they shot the driver? Because he really is. He's like, what are you doing?
It's more fear for his life, I think.
Yeah.
You think that's what it is?
It's him not saying it, but him going like, oh shit, am I next?
Okay,
right, that's
all right.
Because really, like, it's already over. They could have just killed Londa. That's what I don't understand. He doesn't have any information that they, at this point, need.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, he says, oh, I can give you the names of the rest of the SS officers, but you've killed him.
Yeah, but living with the swastika is worse than killing someone.
Exactly.
I think he wants to have him live like that. I love
he's not lasting on Nantucket.
when they kill the driver, and he says something
no, I won't be sent to jail. I'll be chewed out.
I've been chewed out before.
But I've been chewed out before.
Yeah. I love that line. I've been chewed out before. It's okay.
Yeah.
and the movie ends with the great scene of Aldo carving the swastika into Londa's head.
I think that's your masterpiece, sir.
Yeah, and it just ends right then and there. And this is kind of we get it again in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is kind of his first dive into the alternate reality history.
The Tarantino-verse history.
The Tarantino-verse history, which, is...
There's different levels of that, too. The real... I forget the name of them, but there's different levels of the history. The real...
Yeah, some of them are movies. Yeah. Some of them are reality.
Yeah.
It's trippy. And I don't know if I buy all of it, but...
It's real trippy.
It's really weird.
All right.
Better than the Marvel-verse.
MCU. All right. I like the MCU. Tarantinoisms, Master. What do we got?
All right.
I think Butler has some good ones, too, whatever you
Yeah, if I miss any... Because I was so more engrossed in the movie, and I may have missed some things. So we've got another bare feet scene with Hans Landa interrogating Bridget von Hammersmark. The shoe fits. You got the corpse POV scene. There's only a couple, and they happen after Aldo Raine carves the swastika. You get the corpse POV looking up at their face, and that is the last scene in the movie. Like you just said, that's my masterpiece. You get the third Mexican standoff scene, which is a little unconventional, but we got Wilhelm pointing the gun at Aldo, and then you got the guys upstairs with the.
It's not a Mexican standoff. You have to. Well, we're gonna throw a grenade. If you kill me, I'm gonna have my boys throw grenades down there, and they're gonna get you. Hence, Mexican standoff.
Yeah. You've got another record player close up in the basement tavern. You've got your black and white suit with Donnie Donowitz and all. I almost did it again.
De Coco.
De Coco. Yeah. Margarita and De Coco. We're in the tuxedos at the premiere of the movie. You've got another torture scene where Aldo tortures von Hammersmark by sticking his finger in her bullet hole.
Yeah. Fuck, that looked painful.
Yep. And you got another close-up on lips with Shosanna getting dressed.
In the 80s-ist montage he's ever done.
Yeah.
As I'm watching, I think this is like his first 80s montage. Like it's just, I want to do an 80s montage. Yeah. I could totally see him like going like, is it like weird, creepy? I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be fucking good. Let's go.
Let's just do it. And then you got the diner scene where it wasn't really a diner, it was a restaurant, but you got all the people talking there.
Did we get a trunk scene in this one or a hood scene?
No trunk.
Okay.
Nope.
Although,
not that I saw, but
the carving scenes both look up like as if it were the trunk scenes.
So the trunk scene and the corpse POV scene is kind of similar scenes. And then I got a couple of the Tarantino verse, and I know Butler has some more. Lee Donowitz from True Romance.
The movie producer.
The movie producer is the son of Inglourious Basterds' Donnie Donowitz.
And what's interesting about that,
Jew.
in True Romance, he produced a film called Coming Home in a Body Bag, which was about, I think he says, about his father's experiences in the war.
Okay, yep.
That's interesting.
His father would have come home in a
Yeah. Well,
his father, there's probably not much left of his father. He blew up with the thing around his ankle.
No, he did blow up the thing around his ankle, but he really, I can't express this enough. If you ever want to see, if you're any person, you don't have to be Jewish, but if you ever want to see Hitler really getting the fuck killed out of him, when they're shooting him in the face.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Holy fucking.
And then they go back and they shoot him again, even though he's already dead.
Little extended scene there.
It looks good, but at the same time, it looks so like, it's so brutal. Like his face, it just looks like a puppet after a while.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
I think everyone in the theater when I watched it were applauding.
Yeah,
I was just like clapping in the theater, like yes.
Yeah, it's definitely a wish fulfillment.
It's good to
for
see
many
that.
people. Yeah.
Then you have Michael Fassbender's Archie Hickox is related to Tim Roth's character Pete Hickox in The Hateful Eight.
Oh, okay, yep. And actually, Tim Roth was going to play Archie Hickox. He was trying to work it out with Tarantino, and it didn't work out. He was the original, I guess, choice.
Brad Pitt's character Aldo Raine is Floyd's great grandfather from True Romance.
I read that the other day for the first time ever. I had never.
Both played by Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
played by Brad Pitt.
That's why they look so. They're quite the family resemblance.
Don't condescend to me, man.
That means Floyd is part Apache.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's all I got. No
in terms
product
of Tarantino,
placement.
but yeah, you don't even get the cigarettes in this one.
No,
you don't. No red apples. All right, let's get into the box office, and then let's review let's give our ratings for this thing.
All right, so the weekend of 8/21, number 1, Inglourious Basterds, 38 million. Number 6 that week, Shorts. Number 5, Julie and Julia. Number 4, The Time Traveler's Wife. Number 3, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. And number 2, District 9.
Oh, great movie. Great movie.
And then for the year that year, 2009, I'm going with worldwide numbers.
All right, that's fine.
For this one. Inglourious Basterds came in number 20 that year, 321.5 million.
Long movie, too. Movie, too.
Number 10, The Hangover. Number 9, Angels and Demons. Number 8, Sherlock Holmes. 7, Twilight Saga, The New Moon. Number 6, Up. Number 5, the really bad 2012.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Number 4, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Number 3, Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs. Number 2, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
The worst of the Harry Potter films.
And then number 1 that year, you got to know what this is.
2009?
Yeah, 2009, 2.7 billion.
Avatar?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised J.J. Abrams' Star Trek wasn't in the top 10 that year.
Yeah, me too.
No.
Yeah.
Well, not worldwide.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it might have been in the top 10 domestic.
Okay.
But, there's a lot of people listening to this.
I'm surprised Up is so low.
I'm surprised The Hangover is only like 10 or 9.
That's very American, though. I am surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not too surprised about that.
Oh, did we also mention Inglourious Basterds nominated for 8 Academy Awards?
Won.
Christoph Waltz.
Well deserved.
Super deserved. Holy fuck.
Won again the next year for Django?
Yeah. 2 in a row. Two of the same supporting actor awards in a row. All right, let's review this thing. Let's talk about it. Let's rate it. On the QT, we follow Planet Comics scoring techniques 0 to 5. Quarter scale is optional. We'll finish this with the boss, Mike Butler, because we want to do this, the right way.
Good. That gives me more time to finish my audit real quick.
I'll go first.
You want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
I'm not going to do my long explanation. Just 5 out of 5.
Ooh.
That's it. 5 out of 5 for me.
All right. We talked earlier, and I said that this one was hard for me. So far, I gave Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction a 5. And then since then, there has been another 5, but there's been some good ones in there. Not Death Proof. This one here is as close as we're going to get to a 5 again for me. But it just can't hit 5 totally. There's some things I would like to see. Like I said, a little bit more of the bastard stuff would have been nice. But again, this movie is fucking great.
I'm not rating it at what I didn't see.
Yeah, I know. Based on what I did see, I'm giving this a 4.75.
All right, very good.
5 is so tough for me to grade. There's only I don't want to say handful. There's a shoebox full of 5s out there for me.
Yep.
And he's gotten 2 of them. The first 2 right off the bat. But yeah, this one is is pretty damn close. This is a 4.75.
All right.
All right, Butler, what do you got?
Are we grading these out of movies in general or just Tarantino movies? What is this rating star system?
Movies in general.
Yeah.
The movies in general?
Movies in general.
This is a 4.5. This movie is a fantastic movie, and I would have given it 5 stars if I hadn't seen Django afterward, or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he perfects the historical Tarantino. This is his first historical Tarantino, and it is fantastic. It is phenomenal. But Django and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood are the 5s for that.
Take it to the next level.
He just anything wrong that I found in this film in my notes, I go, well, it's a little better when it's Django, or it's a little bit better when it's Once Upon a Time, in terms of all the detail and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to give it a 4.5. It is phenomenal. It is one of a kind. It is the first of its kind. And then the only 2 that have come since are his own films. So it is still phenomenal. It's a fantastic film.
All right. I feel pretty good about that.
Average 4.75 score.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. All right, so before we talk about what's coming up next on the QT, let's talk about ForgottenEntertainment.com. Forgotten Entertainment, it's the shows you're doing, what's coming out, what's happening, what's going on for the rest of the year in 2021.
Oh, Forgotten Entertainment has a ton of stuff that's already out. Obviously, you guys are listening to On the QT, so you guys know about that. Feel free to rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff for that. We've also got the Yet Another series, Yet Another MCU podcast, which is wrapped up until they start making more movies and more movies are released with Mike Field and Pat Whalen. We got Yet Another Star Wars podcast about Star Wars with the folks from Bohemian Geek Studies, which is another podcast we have. We have Yet Another DC Animated Universe podcast, which is just released. When this comes out, I believe they're already a couple episodes in.
Yeah,
check them out. They do a deep dive into the DC Animated Universe and how it relates to the comics and pop culture and all that kind of stuff. We've also got Two Player Bros, which is a podcast I do about video games. We've also got Crackin' It Open, it's a podcast I do with my fiance Elise, which is about beer and craft beer. If you like brewery, you want to know the history of the beer and stuff like that, listen to that. And we also have Forgotten Cinema, which is kind of the granddaddy, I guess, podcast. And that is about forgotten films that for some reason seem to be forgotten by audiences, which we kind of talk about. Not necessarily unpopular films, but films that just kind of get overlapped by films like Marvel, Indiana Jones, Jaws, stuff like that. Right. And we do a deep dive into those films, plus a whole bunch of other stuff coming out. And if you like the sound of my voice, check out my audiobooks on Audible. Please buy them. I don't get paid unless you guys buy the books. My name is Michael Butler. I got a bunch of horror books out there. Sour, Switch Art, Fraud, and Gangsters, The Final Girl, Coffee at Midnight, Progressive Entrapment, The Murder of Kelly Christopher. Check those books out on Audible.
All right. So check
the Butler Show.
It is. Yeah, pretty soon he's going to be the host of this. He's going to be the host.
Right.
He's just going to morph into everything.
He's the boss man.
All right. Check us out at Pine of Comics. Please go check out our other podcast. You can hear us twice a week for the next, 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Next week on the QT, we'll be talking about Butler's, did you give it a 5?
Your number one
Can we
film.
say 5?
Oh, Django is my favorite.
So was it a 5, though? I want you to pre-rate it.
Pre-rate it?
Yeah.
5.5.
5? Oof, he's...
Christoph, first of all, Django, the whole movie is fantastic. Leonardo DiCaprio is so good. But Christoph Waltz as Schultz He's 5.5. He's one of my favorite characters in all of cinema.
So good to see him as a good guy.
Yeah.
Alexander Dumas was black.
Yeah.
And when he says I'm sorry to Django, when he knows what's going to happen, and he sets off to the third act.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Mwah.
All right. So he gives it a 5.5. You could hear us talk about it with our guest from swoproductions.com, Rob Stewart. We'll be talking about that next week. So please join us again. And until then, Lloyd.
Until then, arrivederci.
What does he say to her again? I want to say that though. Shosanna!
Shosanna! Au revoir, Shosanna!
Au revoir, Shosanna!